sometimes this will happen when I'm at a social setting or something, and people will see that, I'm drinking beer and I'm eating these cookies and kind of thing. And they're like, what? This is ridiculous. Like, you're in fitness, you're setting a bad example, kind of thing. And I'll start to kind of tease a little bit like, no, it's not really that important that you totally abstain from these things. It's not necessary all the time and stuff. And a lot of people actually really push back on that, because what the extreme habits give us is a sense of security about things,
Mm.
because we're getting involved in fitness because we want more control over our body, how it looks, feels, performs. And a lot of times there's a lot of insecurity over things. So when I suggest things like, no, you don't have to completely eat clean all of the time, that's a very scary concept to a lot of people. It's not hopeful for a lot of folks. Instead, they're like, oh, I'm sure if I give just an inch, I'm going to just eat total junk food and be lazy and watch TV and video games all day long. And I'm never going to go to the gym. I have to be 100% strict 100% of the time. Otherwise, I'm going to go completely off the rails. And so that's why a lot of times the opposite is the case, where people will say, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I don't want any part of that. I don't want any part of loosening up my diet just a little bit or giving myself any leniency aside from the total straight and narrow, because it gives them a sense of control. It gives them a sense of security away from whatever they fear about health or weight gain or whatever. But the ironic thing is that they don't really have nearly as much control as they think they do, because the more we try to force ourselves to stay on that straight and narrow path, the less we're actually making disciplined decisions. It's like, oh, I never miss a workout, I always force myself to work out. It's like, are you really in control if you're not actually making choices, but you're just following the
Ah,
rules?
that's very interesting.
Yeah, because I could draft up something like, okay, Will, you're going to work out an hour every single day. Here's exactly what you do, how you do it. Don't ever stop doing that. You have to do it exactly like this, no matter what. Okay, that's fine, but I've totally taken the control out of your hands.
Yeah.
You're not in control because you're 100% obedient to what I'm telling you to do, which isn't always a bad thing, especially when we're starting off. We may need that guidance, but inevitably life changes. So you may be like, okay, my schedule's changing. I don't have this time, or now I'm getting sick and now I've got this injury, and oh, this exercise doesn't quite seem what I'm doing. I think I'd rather do this other thing. And I'd be like, no, you have to follow these rules exactly as I write them down, kind of thing. And the fact is, if you're not actually making choices, you're not in control. But when you make the choice of, okay, today I'm really not feeling my best. The kids are going crazy. I have no time and everything. I really just don't think it's in my best interest to force this workout today. I think I'm going to be better off doing it tomorrow when I've got more rest and more time and more energy and more, if you're making that choice, that's a decision. That's discipline. A lot of times people think that being disciplined is all about forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. That's not discipline. That's obedience. It's completely the opposite. An obedient person does what they're told to do, regardless of whether or not it's the best thing to do. It's like, this is what I say, you do it, regardless of the circumstances. That's obedience. That's not discipline. Discipline is when you look at your circumstances and you're like, based on this and this, and my experience says this, I'm better off doing this and making this change. Sometimes it could be saying, all right, usually I do 3 sets, but today, feeling great and awesome, let's do 5. Let's go for it. Let's rock and roll. But other days it could be like, man, that's not working for me. My elbows are killing me. Instead of 3, I'm just going to do 1 set of everything, get the blood flowing, and then go home. That's not being weak. That's called discipline, because you're making better choices for yourself. And so, again, coming back to what we want, when you know the objectives you're trying to go after, you can make far better disciplined decisions on what's actually better for you, rather than just staying on this straight and narrow that someone has arbitrarily guessed is the best thing for you.